All right, since you are using an external BAQ, I have a bit of a hack for you. In an external BAQ, that means you have access to an external database. So in an external database, you can create an external view like this, and I'll provide the code in a second. What this does is it creates a view that returns every date from January 1st, 1970 through the end of the current year. And this view will stay live pretty much forever, right? It uses a CTE, which has the property of being iterative, so it can loop on itself. So once you've created this view, you can go into Epicor, into external BAQ query, and you can create a BAQ that returns all dates. So we're just going to call this the all dates BAQ, right? So you go in here, and then you can select your external database. That's fine. And then you look up your all dates view. It's right here. Okay. Now, because a CTE is recursive, you need to make sure that you enable the max recursion so that you can get all the dates. So if you go into Actions, Execution Settings, add a new option here, Query Option, and you want to set max recursion to 0 and persisting query. This means that you can basically go on forever with a CTE. Now, in this case, that's not a big problem because it's really just one field. So if you come in here and you test this field, it just returns a date, right? So if I test this, it's going to run, and it's going to return again every day forever. Great. So we're going to say all dates BAQ. So again, it's in your external data source. All right. So now we're going to make a BAQ that takes a parameter of a date, and we're going to use this BAQ to drive that selection. So I'm going to create another BAQ. I'm going to call it part trend by date, for example. And again, it's going to be in the same database, although it doesn't have to be, but in this case it is. And I'm just going to bring in my part trend table. Okay, I'm going to drop in the trend num, part num, warehouse, and of course the trend date. And I'm going to tie that trend date to be equals to a parameter. So I'm going to create a parameter called selected date and set that as a parameter. So thus far, this is all pretty normal. All right, so I have the two BAQs now. So now what's nice about having the all dates data view available is that now I can go into my dashboard entry. Maybe, where's my dashboard? No, I have it open. And I can create a new dashboard. And the first, let's clear that, it's being silly. And the first thing I want to do is I want to bring in a BAQ in here. I don't know why my BAQs are being dumb. There we go. I can't click new query. Let me get out of this and go back in. Sometimes, okay, try that again. New query, and I'm going to drop in my all dates BAQ, right? And what I'm going to do though is I'm going to publish the selected value of that column, and that's going to create a pub sub on my dashboard, right? So right now, if I just run it, it's going to return all the dates, right? That's fine. But what we want to do is we want to bring in the secondary BAQ and subscribe to the published date, right? So I'm going to say new query, and I'm going to bring in my part trend BAQ. What did I call it? Let's look here. Part trend by date. And in this case, the parameter here is going to be selected date, and it's going to be populated by the date value that was published on the original BAQ. All right. So now I have my grid here, which is published based on the selected date at the top. So the last thing I have to do now is at the very top here, I can add a tracker view with a prompt equals and make it an input prompt only and criteria required. Right. That's going to force me to select the date before I can run the BAQ, and then I can delete the summary grid at the top. So now I have a date selector at the top, and at the bottom here, I have my BAQ, which is driven off of that selections. So I want to go deploy dashboard, preview. That's going to generate my classic dashboard. I'm going to select a date, say the 23rd, and I'm going to hit refresh. And what that's going to do is it's going to filter the top level BAQ and pass in that selection down into my partran. So these partran records are now filtered by the tran date that I selected, and I didn't get a prompt. Hope that helps.